Do you know what happened to the gang member that you talked about at the beginning?
Unfortunately, because of confidentiality, I don't have contact with him.
Okay.
But I would assume he's still in MS-13.
Okay.
However, with my interviews, I talked to them about how there's certain chapters of MS-13, and so this particular youth, because he was so young, he may not be in the national chapter, he may just be in the Rhode Island chapter, therefore he's a little bit more safe, but...
When you age out of the gang, do you have the same violent consequences that you had from this side?
Well, what I learned through the interviews was that actually a lot of these gang members, when they're getting older, they've already gained a lot of respect for the gang. So in order for you to exit the gang without huge ramifications, you have to be at a level where you're respected enough to say, listen, I understand the values of our gang and I totally still support you guys for doing that, but I'm at a different point in my life and I need to support my kid. A lot of times if the lieutenant or the OG, the original gangster, if they're at a point where they can see that you are trying to do something good by your family or do something good for yourself, like go back to school or get a job, they're more lenient, but they may still call on you. So it's like you're out, but you're never really out, because you could be at a point in your life where you're stable and successful, but at any time they can call you up and say, look, we need to do something over on this side of Providence and we need you there. But I think that when you gain that respect, they're less likely to call you because they don't want to bring you down.
So Patsy, is education in schools not the way to go?
I think that that's a big initiative that's happening right now with the street workers, is that they're trying to intervene at an early age. Mm-hmm. And so by having these street workers present in Providence and throughout Rhode Island, when someone is contemplating getting involved in the gangs, they have these peer mentors. A lot of street workers were gang members in their youth as well, so they can tell them their personal side of the story. The street worker that I spoke to, he actually goes to kids' homes and gets a really close relationship with them and their families, and he tries to talk them out of getting involved with the gang. They all have their cell phone numbers. These street workers work extremely hard. So it does start in the schools.
And the communication among gang members, to what extent is it, face-to-face? To what extent is it digital?
I think it's in all aspects, Facebook, AIM,
a lot more
text
getting
messaging.
organized digitally?
There's a lot digitally, but I think that there's still that aspect of hanging out together as a group mentality.
What are some of the tactics, or I should actually say, what do you see as some of the pressures from forces that either create internal antagonism from rival gangs, or even just kind of any, playing off of any kind of mistrust within the gang, or even are directly antagonistic towards the gang? I mean, do you feel that there's going to be a lot of resistance for the support that you're suggesting?
I think that there's going to be resistance always if we wait. I think that we have to come at it at multiple approaches. I think that right now society just immediately thinks that gangs are bad, and therefore we need to stop gangs. At least that's how I was looking at it, and that's clearly not going to get you anywhere, because until you can first you have to respect the person for where they are in their environment and why they're choosing to be a part of this gang. Then you need to build a relationship with these people. They need to realize that you're not necessarily trying to get at them for being in the gang. You're trying to support them no matter what their decision. And that was one of the things my stakeholders constantly said, is that these people who are involved with the gangs can be a part of their resource center, whether or not they're still in the gang or not. So they don't have to be non-affiliated with the gang anymore. They can still come back, even if they were involved in a shooting the day before or sold a lot of drugs last week. Even if they're still involved, they are still being supported. So I think that the resistance will come when we stop accepting these kids for who they are. But once we prove ourselves that we're building a relationship, an honest relationship, then we'll be able to actually infiltrate and prevent gangs from happening.